Hey friends, Marie from Kindred Root, talking about timelines a little bit more and about how memory and trauma and I'm sorry, I get distracted looking up here. There's a gigantic spider in a web right behind my screen. She's enormous and she's a little distracting, but I'm going to do my best. So, the timelines and memories, and why do they converge, where they converge, why do they intersect? And each of ourselves, right, that have their own timelines, we're all having experiences in this life, and sometimes we have experiences in this life that aren't great. We all know that. We have trauma, we have shock, we have injury, we have loss, there's grief. This is the full human experience. We have all of these experiences. And so do they, right? All of our other parts. They too have all of those experiences, just in their own way, in their own time. And when we have those shocky experiences, what happens is, if we're overwhelmed, those memories get caught in time. It's almost like our energy will encapsulate them in a bubble, like a time capsule, so that we're not completely overwhelmed by that shock and by that experience. And our wisdom, our divine innate wisdom, will take that time capsule and it'll put it somewhere off in our etheric, in our body. It'll just store it until a point in time when we can unpack it without being re-traumatized or overwhelmed by it. And there may be experiences that some of us have had in our lives that maybe we don't get to unpack this time around. And that's okay. We don't have to unpack it all. We can come into this life thinking, oh, I'm going to have all of this experience and I'm going to transmute and heal all of it and I'm going to be a superstar. And you know what? We get down here and we're like, yeah, no, that's okay. It's okay to put some of it back. But that's encased, right? That's in our etheric, it's in our soul memory, those experiences. And when a timeline bisects with our timeline and we have that shared experience, like that aspect of you also had a car accident and this aspect of you had a car accident and you had similar injuries, those timelines will bisect, they will converge at a point in time, hopefully, when you're able and, kind of resourced enough to be able to handle it. Okay, so this can happen with physical things, it can happen with emotional things. We have a lot of shared experiences, and the grief, the pain points, the sadness, the emotion, and then the physical pain points and the disease and all of these things, those are all convergence points that we have in common with our other aspects in the other timelines. And when the energy is there for those for those parts to come together, then we have the opportunity of sitting with that particular time capsule and opening it up and seeing and feeling and experiencing and transmuting and loving it into wholeness. Once again, that doesn't mean that we have to. Okay? It's just an opportunity. And we don't have to take all the opportunities. Sometimes we could say, I'm not ready for that. And we can set it aside. Sometimes we need to get a little more resource. We need to get a little stronger inside. We need to do a little bit more healing. We need more tools in our toolbox to be able to sit with that. And that's okay too. So there's no shame, there's no judgment. I'm just seeing how all of this is unfolding in a very tangible way, and I wanted to explain it better maybe. So our nervous systems are highly sensitive, and we can activate a timeline convergence through acute injury, through a big loss, through a chronic injury that gets inflamed. Any of these things can be opportunities to awaken that specific convergence point. And then we have the opportunity to travel into that convergence point to see how that aspect of us handled it. What wisdom did they have? What tools did they have? How did they work with that energy? And then they can look at how we're working with that energy. And then together we can combine those energies so that we can clear it and heal it and get the wisdom. So yeah, I did a bunch of work with one of my timelines today, where I had made an agreement that isn't working for me in this timeline anymore, but that agreement is carrying through. And so I have the opportunity, right? I have the opportunity to sit with that part that made the agreement and understand why she made the agreement, and have empathy and compassion for why she made that agreement, and then show her that now we don't need that agreement anymore. That agreement isn't serving us anymore. Thank you for this lesson. Thank you for making that agreement, because it kept us whole and sane and safe. But in this focus, we no longer need that agreement, and that agreement is actually hurting us. And so we can consciously come together and break that agreement, cancel that contract. And that's important, because we have a lot of agreements in this life, agreements that we've made, agreements that other parts of us have made, agreements that other people have made for us in our names, right? As children, our parents make a lot of agreements for us that maybe now as adults we're like, hey, I don't agree to that anymore. And we have the sovereign right as divine beings to make new agreements. So that's another cool thing about the timelines, right? We can make new agreements. We can go and find the old agreements and renegotiate those terms, so that we are living life on the terms that are in our highest and greatest good, and are in the highest and greatest good of this world. It's just another aspect that we're going to cover a lot in How to Human 101, but also in my free masterclass, we're going to talk a lot about contracts and agreements, specifically love contracts and agreements and love spells. In my masterclass, it's called Break the Spell, and that's going to be free, and it's on September 5th. And you can go to my link in bio and sign up for that, and we can talk more about timelines and breaking spells and agreements that are no longer serving us. Okay. Thanks, friends. Thanks for hanging with me in these 2 long, rambly videos. I hope you're just doing beautifully today. Be well.